It's my pleasure to bring Shalisa to the stage to talk about health, some science behind findings concerning health, and why you should care. So please welcome Shalisa.
Good morning, everyone. So I wanted to start off by telling you guys a little bit about UCLA, if you're not familiar with the campus. So we are a campus full of people who want to change the world. And you'll see that if you walk down this walkway we have called Bruin Walk, you'll see that there are people handing out flyers all over the place, trying to get you to join their causes so that you can help them change the world. So I was walking down Bruin Walk a couple of months ago, and I ran into this guy who came up to me and told me about his cause. And he asked me a really interesting question, which was, can you think of any reason why you can't help us today? And that was a really hard question. I had to think about it for a moment, but I'm kind of proud of myself because I think I came up with a good answer. And this is what I said to him. Everyone picks their battles, the causes that they're going to fight for, things they're really passionate about. And I know this is yours, but I've already picked mine, and I already put all the resources I have into it. So today I wanted to tell you guys a bit about the cause I fight for, and why I think you guys should care. So, as many of you probably know, we live in a world that doesn't really take such great care of itself. And we live in a country where it's ridden with diseases caused by lifestyle. And so, I don't want to cite the statistics for that, but I will cite some statistics about what's preventable, like what can we do about it? So this is a study that was published in PLOS in 2009. And what they did was they compiled a bunch of studies that looked at how certain lifestyle factors lead to increased mortality. And what they did was they did some math, and then they applied it to statistics from 2005. And this is what they found. These are the numbers they got. So there are lives in the US that might be saved if we got some better health education. If we told other people how important it is to take care of themselves and control certain lifestyle factors. And here are a few other sad numbers. So from the same study, they found a rough estimate that maybe 191,000 people might have been saved if they'd known that exercise is really important. And based on the World Health Organization, it might have been 3.2 million people for the entire world that year, or annually. And similarly, for eating enough fruits and vegetables, 58,000 people in the US and 1.7 million in the world. So this is why I care. I want to save lives, and not just lives, but years spent in disability, years that you could have had where you lived a happier life. But luckily, there are some really good resources out there, weapons that I can use to fight this fight. So there's this really cool thing. It's like seriously magical, and it brought us the first TV set in 1928. It took us to the moon in 1969. And now I have this thing in my purse that does pretty much everything I could possibly want to do. And this thing is science. It's a way that humans have developed to look at the world and through observation and experimentation. And it gives us what we need to figure out how to live a healthy lifestyle, how to do what's good for us. And the media looks at science and tells us things too. For example, in 1999, eggs were okay for us. In 2012, they were really, really bad. But then in 2013, they were so good you should eat them all year. And a month later, they were bad again, and now they're okay. So what did the media get wrong? Well, that's what I'm about to tell you. So you can't just take one study or even 5 studies and make a conclusion out of it like they did in those news articles. Science is more complicated than that. It's, to make an extended metaphor, it's a really complicated puzzle. And not all of it is correct. And this was illustrated pretty well by a professor I had last year in neuroscience. One day he just walked into class and he said, "Hey, I just want to make sure you guys understand this. If I'm lucky, 30% of what I tell you this quarter is actually correct." And that's because we're not really sure how the pieces fit together yet. So I'm going to go on an extended metaphor right now. So health science is like a really complicated puzzle, and the pieces are kind of funny looking. But we don't have all the pieces yet. And some of the pieces are blurry because the printer messed up. And you have a friend who borrowed your puzzle, and even though it's supposed to be of a cat, he really wanted it to be of a dog, so he threw in some dog puzzle pieces. And your kid brother decided to draw some pieces and just throw them in there, just to mess with you. So you see how science is pretty difficult, but there are some puzzles that we've mostly solved, and some that we're not really sure about yet. So all I'm trying to say is maybe you should take science with a grain of salt, and also not necessarily believe what the media says, because I'm not sure they get it right most of the time. So now that I've told you that, how is a normal person who doesn't specialize in health science supposed to tell what's okay? Luckily, there are lots of resources out there, like your doctor, your dietitian, and online sources like WebMD or Mayo Clinic, and my personal favorite, Total Wellness. So with that, I wanted to tell you guys a bit about the next issue that we're releasing today, called Health, It's Music to My Ears. And not all the articles are about music, such as ones that answer these questions. What is an eating routine that's good for you? How can yoga improve your mental health? What are some ways to improve your mood? How accurate are exercise machines? And finally, the ones related to music, how can music be good for your mind and body? And this one was written by me. One that goes with it, how can music affect stress and sleep? And finally, can it be bad for you? So one of the things I'm really proud of about Total Wellness is that we try to give you the information exactly as we find it, from primary sources from the research itself. And we do this even if it means that sometimes the answers we give you are literally, we have no idea what the answer is yet. But here's a puzzle piece, and here's a blurry one, and we think our brother threw in that one. So I wanted to end with this in honor of the great Martin Luther King Jr., whose birthday we're celebrating this weekend. I have a dream that everyone I love will take care of themselves so they can live a long, healthy life, so that I can have them for as long as possible. And I have a dream that everyone will tell the people they love what I like to tell the people I love, which is, I love you, so please, please, please take care of yourself for me. And maybe someday after the word has spread, we can live in a world full of people who are healthy and happy, and in a world full of people who understand that everyday mundane choices might actually make a difference. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the conference.